Hey everybody, it's the Financial Reboot Investment Team with your daily live show. Let's get the show started. It's going to be a good one. It's been a long week. A lot going on this week. We had the tax reform bill uh, presented. Now it's all about getting votes, getting it on the president's desk, refining it so it makes everybody happy and things like that. So that was kind of interesting, and it's just been a long week. So let's get right to it. Let's do a little market update, and then we'll talk about our plays, and then a little market commentary. At first I wanted to start it because somebody made an observation. They were asking, at Financial Reboot we have employees like any other company, and uh, they're all well pedigreed. They're all intelligent, but we like to think they're intelligent. uh, Starts from the top, right? Anyways, and so somebody made a comment that it's really nice the way you explain things simply, and that's what we try to strive for. Especially with like our newsletter clients, our concierge clients. Anybody that's associated with the company, we always try to keep things simple for them so everybody can understand. If you're looking for something, site or analysis where they go deep into the numbers and the percentages and yield curves and matching this and matching that, there's plenty of sites out there, and there's a lot of great ones. And there's a lot of great free ones, like our free show and stuff like that. But we try to strive where everybody understands, just like on our newsletter. We try to find plays that everybody can play. We have a lot of subscribers that start with four, five, $600 accounts, and really on options. I mean, you see most options newsletters when they call their plays, they're calling dollar 50, $2, $3 contracts. Like this Twitter trade we just cashed out. We cashed it out for 78%, 68% in a few days. Those were 16-cent contracts. So a guy with a $500 portfolio easily can get into the play and do well with it. And the same thing with our explanation. So, like I said, there's plenty of sites that'll go more complicated and stuff. We try to keep things simple and fun. You should be having fun when you trade. That's, again, a shameless plug for our newsletter. Basically, they got one message, then they got a video update afterwards telling them why we're in the play, and then they got a message, put your stops on it and cash that bad boy out for your 68%. Very low stress. There's a lot of personalized service. Our newsletter team does an incredible job. They run a live trading room. Yeah, there's a lot of things you get with the newsletter. So here's your shameless plug. The newsletter team actually gave us a nice pick that we made money off of. So I owe them a favor. So this is their shameless plug. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, in that kind of a service, then we're the service for you. If you want to win, but you want to do low stress and stuff, look, the market can be so exciting, right? And it is exciting to day trade. We've day traded. I'll be honest with you, day trading is not our forte. But you can have so much fun doing it. It's exciting. The adrenaline's pumping every tick, every candle, every this. But we're just not that kind of traders. We like to go stress free and stuff like that. So, variety is the spice of life. And in investing world, there is a ton of variety out in the internet. So we'd love to have you with us. But ultimately, we want you to find the variety that spices up your life. So hopefully we're that variety. But if not, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate that. And all of you regular tuners, thank you so much. It's Aloha Friday. Let me share a little bit of the love with you guys. Anyways, let's get right to it. So it was a nice, tame market day today. We started out the day with that jobs report, and it was a miss, but it was more like a foul tip miss, in the sense that we got about mid 200,000 on the jobs, but we were looking for, I think, 322,000. A lot of people were looking for the kind of recovery we had in the job market the month after Katrina and stuff, but we didn't quite get that kind of veracity. But it's okay. The market digested it really well, pushed down gold a little bit and things like that. But otherwise, it was very tame. And if you look at the chart for the day on the S&P, you can see we opened soft. Let me get the time frame in here. You see that was the opening. We sold down on the open. We kind of flatlined. Then we just trickled up, man. Every hour, little bit up, little bit up. Then we had a little sell down after lunch. People come back from lunch, and it's been that way every Friday. If you guys are watching the trend, we'll watch it for you and tell you. Uh, right after lunch, there tends to be a little softness, sell down in the market, and that's people positioning, moving money into gold for the weekend, things like that. As Donald Trump is in town. He'll be landing in a couple hours at in Honolulu, and uh, he's on his way to Asia. And there's some things brewing in Asia, and we'll talk about that in a moment when we talk about our gold trade. But people get a little defensive, so they'll cash in some profits on stocks, and then they'll put a little money into gold just to have some protection. You can see that played out, a little sell down in the stocks, and it bounced back up, then it sold back down again. Then we got that last 5 minutes. It's intense. We like to watch the last 5 minutes on Fridays on our level two. It's just blinky lights. It's like, let's entertain with we like the blinky lights. We are clickbait. Anyways, so you can see we got that big empty candle at the end, and it's just, oh my god, the wicks are just incredible. It was just a fun last 5 minutes. And it was a tame day. It was a trickle up day. It was a melt up day, but it was a really tame day. The volume was real soft. It wasn't really big moves either way. What drove the markets today, despite the jobs report, was Apple. Apple had the great earnings, and then they just snowballed from there, right? I mean, you all of a sudden you saw the last couple of weeks, let's be honest, you've been seeing a bunch of articles about how the iPhone X, it's too expensive, it's not this, it's not that, demand is going to go down. Well, today you saw the complete opposite, because guess what? Like we said yesterday, the iPhone has a base of users. Samuel, our boss, our leader, uh, is a absolute iPhone uh, fanboy. And and we understand why. It's a great device, and Apple's a great company, and we knew that, like we told you a few days ago, don't bite into that bad press about Apple. Apple will be fine, but on top of that, it's much more than just the phone company. You saw the Apple iWatch. The revenue went up 50%, grew at 50%. There's just a lot going on with Apple. It's a behemoth of a company. It's important, and it's going to continue being very successful. All you Apple shareholders, congratulations. That was a great quarter. Uh, it actually broke the 900 billion market cap today. Wow. Good job all around. The other lift to the market was Broadcom. I'm not sure if they made the offer, but there's talk about an offer for Qualcomm. That blew up Qualcomm. It's funny, one of the trades, we'll talk about our trades in a few minutes, but one of our trades, we went long Cisco about a week ago, and at the same time, we were looking at Qualcomm, and we would have been long right now on some options and just scored big bucks, had we known that this offer was going to come. But congratulations, Qualcomm owners. You made a little money. But anyway, so it was a little melt up day. It was a soft day. All three markets closed at their all-time highs. The VIX was really soft today. It actually got real close to getting under that $9. I don't remember in my 40 years the VIX ever being this soft, but we're going to talk about what we're playing. And if you're following that, if you're playing along with us, one thing we do have is what we call insurance. And we have some VIX calls that we buy. And we'll buy a set a couple months, 2, 3 months out. And we usually buy them about 37, 37.50 for the strike. And the reason is because if you look back on the historical chart, flash hits on the market will generally take it up to about that $37, $38 level. And it's like house insurance. It is again, here's a simple way to explain it. It's like house insurance. So like maybe say a $5,000 portfolio. Maybe we'll buy 250, $500 worth of insurance. And what that is, we'll buy the VIX calls. And we'll just leave them there. We'll put them in our pocket and we'll leave them there. And then if something bad does happen, that 500, $250 will easily turn into 8, 9, 10 grand. And it's basically like the same insurance you have on your car or your house, right? I mean, You always, a lot of people say, well, it's kind of like we're just throwing money away. It's like, no, no, trust me. The day that fire happens, you will be so happy that you paid that money. Uh, your house burns down, you have insurance, a lot of times, maybe you had a two-bedroom little shack, and then your insurance kicked in, your house burned down, your insurance kicked in, and then all of a sudden you got an eight-room mansion. You know what I mean? Courtesy of the insurance company. That's how our VIX trade works. So keep that insurance in your portfolio. You know what I mean? It's good to have. You never know in today's market, right? I mean, things just happen like lightning. So that's one of the things we do, and it's it looks real ugly right now because the VIX just keeps going down, but you got to have that insurance. Keep that insurance in your portfolio. And so there was a Qualcomm bid, there was an Apple, great earnings. We've got the Trump tax reform plan. The big debates going on that. It's back and forth, and we're going to. Somebody had asked if so we're going to talk about the details about that, and I'll let you know that. What we'll do is we'll go over it over the weekend, and Monday I'll have a detailed review of what we think of it. We don't want to make comments of something we're not sure of. Let's don't be like everybody else and just hit talking points. Let's talk reality. So other than that, the Russell was down. The small caps, not much, 0.11%. Not even a quarter percent. But the big story today was Bitcoin. Bitcoin made another all-time high. Surprise, surprise. Um, but the Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin is on fire. It was as high as 7,400 earlier. What was the high? 7,448. It's kind of pulled off of that. We've got some friends in Bitcoin. Congratulations to all you Bitcoin people, man. Great job. Like we said yesterday, hope it goes to 10 grand to you, to a million for you. We're getting set up to trade Bitcoin, Samuel and I, and the team over here. Uh, it's taking a little longer. I don't know if you guys follow Bitcoin, but Hawaii kind of got railroaded, blackballed by Bitcoin. So we couldn't get wallets, Coinbase, and all that banned all the Hawaii people. So we finally found something. We got a wallet, and now we're working on the rest of it. And also, too, we're reading about it. We like to know what we're trading. So um, we'll let you know if we do start playing Bitcoin. But if you're in it right now, good job. If you bought at the 7,400, uh, what I can say is this: we had an interesting comment from somebody as a close friend that's in Bitcoin, and Samuel was telling him, "Oh, you made money on Bitcoin. Maybe you should cash it out." You know what I mean? It looks like it's at the top, and his exact comment was, It's not like the stock market. It when it goes down, it just comes right back up." Where have you heard that before? 1999, right? January of 2000. I don't think I have to tell you what happened. But that was the attitude of people. And, that's why we say, we don't feel like we've hit the bubble in the market yet, but we're starting to get close. And the reason is you're starting to hear people say that same kind of thing. BTFD, buy the F and dip, right? Well, one day that's not going to work, and then what's going to happen? So, that's Bitcoin today. It had big news. There's a fork coming up, I believe. Let's see. It doesn't have much news about the fork, but I think it's in a week and a half. I'll find out over the weekend. The weekend the team likes to use to get into the details of Bitcoin and stuff. We're really focused on the market during the week, so we talk about Bitcoin and we cheer it on because we have a lot of people that we know that were in it, and we want them to do well. Little different philosophy at Financial Reboot. You know what I mean? Some trading companies and stuff, they're all about, we're the best, and they suck and stuff like that. At Financial Reboot, we like to see everyone do well. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So we're rooting for the Bitcoin people. We're not in it like right now. Of course, if we were short Bitcoin right now, we'd be rooting against you. But that's human nature, right? You see, the dollar had a decent day today, but it still can't get over that 95 cents, which is kind of important right now. It seems like we're hitting a resistance point. You see gold, man. You see we sold down there, man. We had a big sell down, but it bounced back up. Typical Friday afternoon action, right? Like what we were talking about on the S&P. You see how it just that afternoon, that last half hour, and particularly those last 10, 15 minutes really, really become a flea to security, which is moving money from stocks into gold. So that's gold. Let's see what else we were going to talk about here. We got notes because we got a lot to talk about. But anyway, so let's talk about our live play. So we're long Cisco. We're gonna stay long. We'll stay long a little bit longer. I think they have the earnings on the 15th. We'll definitely cash the play in before the earnings, but it looks like it's kind of melting up to with Cisco. So we're gonna see if we can get a little bit more money off of this trade. We just cashed in the Twitter trade this week. 68%. The Macy's short we cashed in 57, 58%. The XLU trade we're in right now, we're up about 35% on that. We'll look to cash that out early next week sometime. We just got into XLP, computer staples. We talked about that yesterday. Uh, let me, you know what? I promised you guys yesterday I'd tell you what we got in at. So we bought XLP yesterday, and we bought it. We bought some 54. We bought $55 calls in January. They expire in January. That's to give it a little bit of room. Remember, we were talking about November, December, good retail time. It's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, um, things like that. So we think there'll be a little push up in the consumer staples, and we're gonna try and take capitalize on that whole event. So usually we like to go out about 30, 40 days, but on this one we went out a little bit over 2 months. Give it some room to play and try to capitalize on that whole thing. Of course, if it gets to a nice profit, we'll cash it in. But that's what we played. The $55 calls in November, January expiration 2018. So if you're following along. That's pretty much what we got into. Look, if you want to get these alerts as they happen, you sign up for the newsletter. You know what I mean? If you got a massive account and you need real personalized service, talk to us about our concierge service. But that newsletter. Here's your shameless plug. Well, I think I mentioned earlier that the marketing team was actually the ones that gave us the Macy pick. They said to take a look at it, and we took a look at it. We went short, and we made up almost 60% on the trade in just a few days. So we owe them one. So here's a shameless plug for it. Look, with the newsletter, you get no stress trading. Okay, look at this week. We cashed in two trades. I think we opened up two trades. So it's real low. It's no stress. You get the alert. You play on it. We send you a video a little later when we have some time to give you analysis of the trade. We talk about how the other trades are going and stuff like that too. And then it's like yesterday when the Twitter trade came on, sent out an alert. You know what I mean? Put your stops on it, and I think it tapped out for everybody. So if you're looking for a low stress, easy to understand, personalized service newsletter, uh, please click that link, man. And there you go. The chips are now even. We just paid back the marketing team. So, let's talk about some other plays. We're still long gold. A lot of people, hey, I got beat up a little bit with my friends on some of the forums today. Hey, you better bail on that gold. If you look at gold today, it had kind of an interesting day. Uh, let's pull up gold here real quick. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Let's do a 1 day chart. Since it's Friday, we're gonna get into a lot of stuff. So you can see, man, that first hour and a half, we just had a hellacious sell down, then the trickle up. This is where I was catching a lot of flack from my friends. Yeah, you better get out of that gold trade. No, 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 no. We're gonna stay long in gold right now, and I'll tell you what, we're not gonna be shaken out of this. Trump is coming into town. I'm dressed up for it. The president's coming to town, and it's a great day. Uh, and he's on his way to Asia. There's already news coming out about North Korea that's not getting a lot of play. The contamination from the mountain collapsing where he does the nuclear tests. There was a news report last night that almost nobody saw, where there's been a bunch of action in the last day or two at one of the missile silos. What better time for him to flaunt in for Trump's face than when Trump's over there for meetings testing a missile? So we stayed long on the gold trade, and look, we're down maybe about 40-50% on the trade on paper right now, but that's fine. With options that'll change in a heartbeat, with gold that can change in one snap. So we're still long on the gold trade. We're still long on Cisco, like I said. We just took up XLP, the consumer staples. We're still long on XLU, which is the utilities, but we're going to look to exit that trade. Right now, we're up about, I think it's 40-45% on the trade. But the Cisco trade, we're up to right now. And then that one, we're going to ride a little towards earnings. Earnings are on the 15th. We're not going to carry it through earnings, but we'll carry it close to it or where we see everything petering out. So that's what we're up to on that. So let's do a little market commentary. Something interesting happened last night. A rogue Twitter employee um, shut down Trump's Twitter account. And that's kind of funny. I mean, I got a kick out of it. You know what I mean? And I thought Trump handled it well too, where he said in his tweet, the word's getting out, and he's insinuating that they're getting scared. So they're trying to shut him down. But, it raises some really, really big questions about Twitter. And it's funny, this happened right after I was in a forum with four bond trading friends of mine. And I had just got through. They had asked me about Twitter because they were asking me what I was playing, and I told them, "Well, we just cashed out that Twitter short." And he was like, "If you don't like the company so much," one of my friends, he was like, "Why aren't you short long?" And I said, "No, no, no, no. You don't want to do that. But let me tell you about Twitter. Here's a little rant for you, and thank you for putting up with me. Um, Twitter is probably one of the best concepts I've ever seen. The product itself is incredibly strong, but this whole thing last night raises some really, really, really scary questions. This was supposedly a rogue customer support person that has access to stopping accounts, shutting out. What else do they have access to? What if the guy had access to posting and he had posted something like, Kim, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna launch. I'm gonna do this. And then in the knee jerk, because on Twitter, nobody verifies information. They just immediately go at. So this rogue Trump tweet comes out, and it's all about that. So Kim Jong Il jumps the gun and he fires a missile. All of a sudden, you have a missile coming at Hawaii. You have a missile coming out at Guam. That's one thing that can happen. World War III, right? Um, what if it happens during the market day, and all of a sudden we're like down 1,000 points, right? Because everybody thinks it's World War III. Maybe they make some Trump tweet, some fake tweet. What about your personal information? How much access does he have to your personal? What if they see you on a video and you're wearing a Trump shirt because Trump's coming into town, and so you're trying to support America and support the president, and so they go and take your personal information and they sell it or they give it away or they dox you, right? Those for you that aren't familiar with doxing, that's where they put your identity and your contact information out on the internet. There's just so many things that are wrong with this. And then, of course, Jack Dorsey just put out this stupid little statement that we've identified the problem and we'll make sure it doesn't happen. And again, this should have never happened in the first place. Are you kidding me? You are Twitter. Uh, the interesting question though was, Pat, why aren't you short Twitter for the long term? Which means like, you see us play the options. We play the options for quick move here, quick move there, up, down. But if you were really long on the short side with Twitter, you would short the stock. You just borrow it from the brokerage, sell it, and then you wait for it to go down, buy it, or replace the shares. That's how a short works for you laymen out there. Um, the reason I don't do that is because, look, Twitter as a business is an incredibly valuable thing. It should be trading like Facebook. It should be trading around 80, 90, $100, but it doesn't. And why is that? Because Jack Dorsey, it starts at the top, and Jack Dorsey cannot allow his progressive bias to get out of the way of his business's success. Everybody knows the blue check marks. I mean, come on, when they did the blue check marks, what a joke is that? You know what I mean? It seems like they only give them to liberal bias writers. I don't I see so many accounts that are absolutely the accounts for the people and stuff, but they don't have a blue check mark. What does a blue check mark even mean? It's funny. We've talked about it before on shows how I like to read twitchy.com and stuff like that, which is Twitter. It's a conglomeration of Twitter feeds. And it's just oh my God. I'm sorry. This is the joy of going live, right? If you stutter, you can't re-record. But you look at it, it's just and every time I see the most asinine comments, like one I saw a blue check this morning say was shitting on Trump about he called for the death penalty for this guy that just did this truck attack, and the guy said, why didn't he call for the death penalty for the Vegas shooter? I mean, I'm going to let you digest that. The Vegas shooter was killed on site. How do we give him the death penalty? But anyways, that's just kind of stupid bias shit, and it seems like the blue checks are the most biased one way or the other. I mean, like I said, I am a staunch independent. I like ideas. I like good ideas, but I don't care where they come from. I don't care who they come from, as long as they're good ideas. Uh, and that's the way I go politically. Trump is the president of the United States right now. He is coming to Hawaii, so I got my Trump shirt on. If Hillary had gotten elected and she was coming to Hawaii, I would have a Hillary shirt on. I'd be supporting the president of the United States. I supported Barack Obama. I supported George Bush. Look, once they are president of the United States, we have to root for them to do good. And the reason is, the better they do, the better we do as Americans. So you can root against them all you want and all this stuff. And we'll talk about that in the second rant because we're going to talk about the midterms coming up. But that's the problem with Twitter. Twitter is supposed to be a free exchange of information and opinions. Um, the problem is it's not. It's not. It's censored. And anytime you start to censor it, especially with a bias, like that they have at Twitter, and everybody knows this is true. They can deny it all they want. It's a very strong liberal bias, but you cannot silence people because of their opinions. You can silence people because of threats. You can silence people because of hate and stuff like that. But just because you say something that somebody else doesn't like doesn't mean you hate, doesn't mean you're a terrorist, doesn't mean you're a fascist, doesn't mean you're a Nazi. It just means that you don't agree on your opinions. So, and that's Twitter's problem is they don't. It's not a true free exchange of opinions. It's really just a pile of crap. Uh, Twitter is a shit show and everybody knows it. But I'm not short because I'll tell you why. It's like I said, it's a very, very valuable media. And it's a genius idea. It's a genius model. It's just not run right. And that's why it's not profitable. And that's why it IPO'd at $40 and it's trading at 20. It's lost half its value. People just understand that. We buy stocks for growth. We buy stocks for making money, right? We don't buy stocks based on political opinions. That's activist investing, and we don't do that. So, anyways, that's your Twitter rant. If you get Jack Dorsey, if you get somebody in charge that's a little bit smarter with business and things like that, you'll be fine. It's just like the NFL. The NFL right now, for the first time in 40 years, I didn't even know who was playing last night. And I'm a staunch football fan. And I'll tell you what the problem is right now. We are halfway through the season and nothing is fixed. These guys are still unhappy, so they're protesting. The guys that don't like the protests are still unhappy because they're protesting. And Colin Kaepernick still doesn't have a job. So in his infinite wisdom and his strong leadership, uh, Roger Goodell, halfway through the season with ratings still declining, um, has not even started solving the problem. So, just like Twitter, it starts at the top. It starts with leadership, strong leadership, and being able to make the decisions that are the tough decisions and things like that. Lead us to the promised land. That's why we made you the leader. So that's our little thing about Twitter and about the NFL. And the NFL will never recover from this, by the way. I'm a lifetime football fan, and I'll tell you the biggest thing with the NFL is it's just not fun anymore. I remember when they started doing the end zone dances, and it was so fun to watch these guys. Man, they do all kinds of stuff. Remember a time Terrell Owens pulled out the marker pen, and it was just incredible. When they started, the first time somebody dunked the ball, it's just they penalize them for that now. The instant replays, they're just absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's look, part of the fun of football was the human element, and the sense that what were the best in your if you're a football fan, think back, what were the best times you ever had around the water cooler on Monday morning? It was when a referee made a bad call, right? Remember the Minnesota playoff game where the referee, actually somebody from the stands threw a bottle and hit the referee in the head. um, that made it fun. It's I'd rather have that, and I'd rather have the intrigue and the human element and stuff than a 50 in every goddamn 20 minutes. We have to have a 15-minute delay while these guys look at a tape, and you know what? They still get it wrong sometimes. It's a guy not even on the field. It's a guy in New York that's looking at the tape and stuff. So, anyways, that's enough rant for that for a Friday afternoon. Let's talk about the midterms real quick. Look, I mentioned this a little bit yesterday. The Democrats actually, up until a couple days ago, really had a good momentum going and good positioning going for the midterms coming up in about a year. Um, and the reason was they looked a little bit more unified. They were on message, and they were together. And the Republicans were just the Chinese fire drill. That's exactly how I described them yesterday. Uh, so what happened in the last couple of days? And now you're getting divided, right? You've got Donna Brazil uh, accusing Hillary Clinton of fixing the primaries. I mean, oh my God, is this news to anybody? Has nobody been watching Debbie Wasserman Schultz? As no Donna Brazil herself. Nobody remembers her giving the questions to Hillary before the Trump debate. I mean, this has been rigged in Hillary's favor, uh, going way back. She was anointed. I mean, anybody that's honest about this will tell you that, oh my God, they were all colluding against Bernie. I mean, you had to feel sorry for the guy. I wouldn't never voted for him, but I felt sorry for him. He never got a fair shake. And now all of a sudden they're all fighting over it. You got Elizabeth Warren chiming in, cheap bullshit chiming in. Um, you got Donna Brazil, please don't interpret this wrong. It's the pot calling the kettle black. You know what I mean? Let's all forget that I gave Hillary the questions to collude against Trump. But, oh, we colluded against Bernie. So, and this is dividing the party. You know what I mean? It's starting to divide the party, and the cracks are showing. And what it is if you really look at it, they're distancing themselves from Clinton because they're starting to realize that as much as they're trying to bury it, even the liberal media and stuff, as much as that, God, I sound like a hardcore Republican, don't I? But I'm really not. This is just a very, very, very honest view of what's going on, and from an independent. So that should strike you even more that I am a fierce independent. But it's the collusion, and they're starting to distance themselves from Hillary Clinton. And the reason they're doing that is they're realizing that the liberal media and all these people, same people that probably colluded to try and get her elected, um, are trying to keep all this news about the dossier, the uranium sale, all this other stuff. But over the months and months and months of this campaign, this stuff builds up, builds up, builds up, and more evidence comes out, and you just can't start. You can't defend it anymore. And that's what they're realizing in the Democratic Party is at some point this is going to hit the fan, and they don't want to be associated with Hillary. So they're distancing themselves. They're trying to position for races and stuff. Um, but they're also on this, Nancy Pelosi, who's probably losing it. I've watched the speeches and stuff by her, and they talked about Trump's mental health, but it's funny, these liberals, they don't look at Nancy Pelosi. She's stuttering, she's stopping, she's sighing. These are all very obvious signs of something going on, but that's neither here nor there. But she's trying to get the Democrats to tone down on this Trump impeachment thing because it's gonna start really hurting the Democrats. Because especially as Mueller progresses along, if there's no indictment, if there's no proof, it just looks like it's a bunch of bullshit that they were doing to try and discredit the president with no basis. So and that really will turn off voters. So there's a lot of positioning going on right now in the Democratic Party, and a part of it is they're trying to distance themselves from Hillary before this gets too deep, and they're associated with it. And there's it's kind of torn with Nancy Pelosi. Some people want new leadership, and then Tom Perez. I mean, the Democratic National Committee put out this ad, and they said white males need not apply, and it's like, oh my God. Dude, you guys are supposed to be the party that ends racism, and I was a liberal. I was a Democrat all my life until maybe about 15 years ago, when I started going really independent. Uh, and this is the reason why. I'm tired of the hypocrisy of it. I got tired of the hypocrisy of it. We're supposed to be looking for equality. We're supposed to be doing diversity. We're supposed to be everybody's the same. Um, I don't believe in the crabs in a bucket theory, and that's if you put crabs in a bucket, what they'll do is if one crab starts crawling up, they'll rip its legs off because they'd rather rip that crab's legs off and nobody gets out of the bucket than them to see somebody else gets out of the bucket. That's what the Democrats have become. So, anyways, that's just from an independent. Hopefully they get it together because we need some healing in the country and stuff, and it'd be good for the economy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We like the stuff that's good for the economy. But anyway, so that's your Friday rant. We went a little long today because it's a weekend. You guys enjoy. You guys have a great week. Like I said, Trump's in town in Hawaii. I think he's here for a day or two, and then he's on his way to Asia. And then he's gonna have meetings over there. But you guys have a great weekend. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm sorry I ran a little bit long today, but it is Friday afternoon. And from beautiful Kalihi, Hawaii, you guys have a great, great weekend. Aloha.